With iPad models ranging from the compact iPad mini to the powerful iPad Pro, choosing the right one can be daunting, especially with a wide range of sizes, prices, and capabilities. And on my channel, I have tested and reviewed all the latest iPads: the entry-level iPad, the iPad mini, the iPad Air, and the iPad Pro. And in this video, I will break down each model and also talk about which one might be the best fit for your needs and your budget. So basically, I like to sum up the iPad lineup in 3 tiers: standard, performance, and professional. So starting off with the standard tier, let's first talk about the entry-level iPad, also known as the budget iPad, as it's the most affordable iPad in the entire lineup, starting at just $349. Despite its price, it boasts a decent 10.9-inch display and is powered by the A16 chip, making it suitable for everyday tasks like browsing, streaming, and note-taking. But I do need to mention that the other iPads have slightly nicer screens, particularly the anti-reflective coating that helps mitigate glare. But that's almost certainly not worth the additional price for most buyers, as the individual that's buying the iPad 11 is probably just getting it for basic tasks. It supports the USB-C Apple Pencil, and it's a great iPad for casual users and students. In my review, I said that the entry-level iPad is a simple iPad for simple tasks. However, if you want to do some light productivity tasks on it, you absolutely can with the Magic Keyboard Folio. So like I said, this is a simple iPad for simple tasks, and I think that's basically what this is intended for. If you want performance or a great display, this is probably not the iPad for you, right? But like I said, if you do want to be productive on it, you can if you get the Apple Pencil and the Magic Keyboard Folio. Also, I do want to note that the only iPad in the entire lineup that doesn't support Apple Intelligence is this entry-level iPad. But that may not be a deal breaker for everyone, but if it is, then don't look at the iPad 11 as the iPad for you. Now, what about an individual who wants the iPad because it's just a simple tablet for simple things, right? But they want it to be even more portable. Well, that's where the iPad mini comes in. And the iPad mini has a 8.3-inch display, and I love the iPad mini. In fact, it's one of my favorite Apple products. And I love it simply due to its size and portability, and it's especially ideal for those always on the move. Though it's smaller than the 11th generation iPad, the mini is more expensive, being priced at $499. However, it supports the new Apple Pencil Pro, making it even better for sketches and note-taking. Plus, you can charge the Apple Pencil Pro by just magnetically attaching it to the sides of the iPad mini. And this same pencil, by the way, is utilized on the more premium iPad Air and the iPad Pro. The iPad mini is my perfect travel companion. I love taking it out everywhere I go as I love the size. It's the perfect content consumption device. The mini has actually replaced my Kindle, as I love reading books on this. It's great watching movies on airplanes with it and also playing games on the go. Also, the performance is better on the mini than the standard iPad because the new iPad mini has a A17 Pro processor versus the A16 of the standard entry-level iPad. So it's faster performance, but also you get Apple Intelligence. And once again, not something that everybody wants, but if you want it, you get it with the iPad mini. So the iPad mini's compact size doesn't compromise performance, making it a favorite among travelers and professionals needing a secondary device. So now that we've gone over the iPad and the iPad mini, now let's take a look at the performance-oriented iPad, the iPad Air. The iPad Air strikes a balance between performance and price. You also get 2 sizes to choose from: an 11-inch that starts at $599 and a 13-inch that starts at $799. It supports the Apple Pencil Pro and is powered by the M3 chip, enabling faster performance and advanced multitasking features like Stage Manager. The iPad Air is a solid choice for professionals and creatives who need more power without the premium price tag of the iPad Pro. I will actually go as far as to say that this is the best iPad for most people. You get solid performance, 2 great screen sizes to choose from, and the iPad Air can actually be a great laptop replacement. And once again, not for everyone, but for quite a few people, it can actually replace your laptop, especially when you package it up with the Magic Keyboard. And with that Magic Keyboard, it makes for a perfect productivity tool. So you see, Apple could literally end the lineup with the iPad Air. You get a great standard iPad, a compact-sized iPad mini, and the more performance-oriented iPad Air. But Apple didn't stop there. They wanted to take the iPad next level, and that's where the iPad Pro comes in. And the iPad Pro has actually replaced the MacBook for me. So like I said, the iPad Air has great performance with that M2 chip, but the iPad Pro has an M4 chip. So for those seeking top tier performance, the iPad Pro is completely unmatched. though I will say that the price is hefty, starting at $1,000 for the 11-inch and $1,299 for the 13-inch. And it features a stunning tandem OLED display with a 120Hz refresh rate. It's the thinnest Apple product ever, and you get a LiDAR scanner, studio quality mics, 4 speakers. Oh, and did I mention how bright the display gets? It gets really, really bright. It gets you 1000 nits of brightness. If you compare that to the iPad Air, that gives you 600 nits of brightness. And for viewing HDR content, 1600 nits of brightness. So the OLED display is already fantastic. You get the 120Hz refresh rate, but it's also very bright. So everything is just beautiful to look at on this display. And all the things I just mentioned about the display, the OLED display, the refresh rate, the brightness, you're not gonna get that with the iPad Air. And also the iPad Pro is the only iPad in the entire lineup that Apple offers a nano textured display if that is something that you're interested in. I will say that if you are looking for just a content consumption device, then the iPad Pro might be overkill even though it has such a beautiful display. It doesn't justify the big price tag. However, if you intend on doing video editing, graphic design work, content creation, and regular everyday computing alongside content consumption, then I definitely think the iPad Pro is worth it. So the iPad Pro is essentially designed for professionals who require the best, supporting the Apple Pencil Pro and offering Thunderbolt connectivity for high-speed data transfer. High-end Pro users will absolutely love it, and if you're like me, it can definitely replace your Mac. Also, the Magic Keyboard on the iPad Pro is a lot more premium than the iPad Air. It has a nice aluminum surface, and you get backlit keys as well. And what's interesting is that the overall form factor of the iPad Pro is thinner and lighter than the iPad Air, which you would think because it's an Air device, it would be thinner and lighter, but the iPad Pro is actually thinner and lighter than the Air, even with the Magic Keyboard when you compare it to the iPad Air with the Magic Keyboard. So just a fun fact for you right there. Also, as an avid iPad user, I swear by this beautiful sleeve from Comfyable. It looks super stylish, premium, and protects my iPad when I go to coffee shops and travel. I also rest my iPad on it so that the Magic Keyboard doesn't get dirty. It's only around like $25, comes in great premium colors, and I have the link to it in the description below. So let's quickly summarize everything we talked about today. You have the iPad 11, which is the best iPad for students and casual users on a budget. And for those individuals who want the most portable iPad experience, then the iPad mini is for you. And if you're a professional or a creative and you are seeking performance, laptop-like performance, then the iPad Air is for you. And if you love the experience of the iPad Air and you want to take it next level and get the best display, the best form factor, the best, overall performance, everything that is one step above the iPad Air, then that is the iPad Pro. And I feel like once you go into the iPad Air and iPad Pro territory, you're basically looking at something that's almost equivalent to a Mac. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to your needs, your budget, and what you're really trying to get out of your iPad. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. I'm a huge iPad fan. I run an entire channel on the iPad. I create and edit all my videos on here, and I talked about all things productivity and iPad on my channel. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and I'll see you next time.